There have been some updates in the Nancy Guthrie case, and I want to talk about them for a bit and cover some more rumors and questions or suggestions that I've been asked or given. And this is going to be quick because some doofus scheduled an eye appointment for me right in the middle of the day, and that would be me. I'm the doofus. And I'm in the middle of making tikka masala for dinner right now, so stop your yammering, lady, and get to it. So, first off, why do I call it a kidnapping? And really, the only reason I do is because that's what the authorities are referring to it as, and that's how the family's treating it. The second question was, why did Nancy go into the garage when Tommaso dropped her off that night? I think that was just the way she entered her house. When people use their garage to enter their house, it typically just becomes their default entryway, even if they aren't using their car. And I'm sure a lot of you listening have known someone or even had a house where only strangers knock on the front door. Everyone else knows to enter through the side door. So I don't think it's strange that Nancy entered her house through the garage. There have also been questions out there about whether or not Annie actually even received a phone call that morning, like she said. And that stems from people saying there's no way that anyone could have known whether or not Nancy had shown up for church because she didn't go to church in person. And that last bit is true. She had stopped attending church during the pandemic and began watching online. But there was a group of women from the church who would meet at one of their houses and watch the online services together. And when Nancy failed to show that morning, that's when one of the women called Annie to let her know that Nancy hadn't shown up. There's also been talk about the search that was done at Annie and Tommaso's house. There have been people saying that if there was a search, a judge had to sign off on a search warrant, and a judge wouldn't have done that without probable cause. The search was a consent search, which means the authorities, the FBI or the sheriff's department, asked if they could search the house, and Annie and Tommaso said yes. Now, I would hope that if the FBI actually saw them as suspects, they would have gone ahead and got a search warrant, because the search from a search warrant is stronger in court. They aren't as easily and readily challenged as a consent search. And then finally, the FBI released photos and video today of the suspect. So I'm going to show you the video clip first, and then I'll put up the photos. So first off on this photo, the eyes, the mouth, and the mustache look nothing like Tommaso. He definitely has gray in his mustache and his eyes tilt down at the edges. The suspect's eyes are almond shaped and tilt up at the edges, so that the outside corner of his eyes sits higher than his inside corner. And I think the fact that the suspect had to pull flowers out of the ground to cover the door camera shows that this wasn't a professional job. I mean, a piece of duct tape could have done the job, or a smear of lipstick, or maybe just take a hammer with you. So, if it was an amateur, why hasn't he been caught? Well, it could just be dumb luck. And it could be that, as covered as he was, he didn't leave any DNA at the scene. That's all I have for now, but I'll have more in this case soon.